Over the last 75 years, over 10,000 chemicals have been introduced to our food supply. Yet the EU only allows 300 food additives. But at Thrive Market, we bring our members the highest quality brands and restrict more than 1,000 ingredients found at conventional grocery stores, making the switches easy with our Healthy Swaps scanner, which finds better versions of all your favorite pantry, snacking, and home essentials without the added junk, dyes, and fillers. Plus, it's all delivered straight to your door. So if you're looking to shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health, go to thrivemarket.com/podcast and you'll get 30% off your first order and a free gift.
And hello, everyone. It's your girl, Gabrielle from A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. So, if you are new to the show, welcome to the show. And if you are a returning watcher, welcome back. Excuse me. So, for those of you who have been living under a rock, Hot Topics is the web series where we like to talk that real talk, right? We like to talk about things that we always want to know, or we're afraid to ask, or we like to get down and dirty on this show. So, all those things that are in the back of the minds, we like to bring them to the front, right? I probably should know my parts of the brain. But anyway, Whew. So all those things that we want to know about, all those things we want to ponder about, well, this is the show where we talk about that. So as a tutoring company, we tend to focus on particular avenues. We like to talk about things in health, in mental health, physical health, I mean. We like to talk about like finance, divorce, education, school. So we like to focus on certain things, right? But whatever it is that we end up talking about, we like to do a deep dive exploration, probing into it, and we like to explore it. So basically, this is a teaching opportunity, so to speak. And our belief is that the life stories that our guests bring to the table is a teaching tool, right? So everyone's experience is someone else's survival guide. I don't remember where I saw that quote, but yes, just yes. All right, so let's get right into it. So the topic today is called living with a, did I spell it right? Yes, living with a chronic illness part 2. So obviously there is a part 1, right? So wherever you are watching this right now, go back and watch that part 1, right? It's all gonna flow together. You could watch the previous episode on our social media and our video library. So whatever platform you are watching this, check out our video library and look for that part 1. But we like to repeat topics because we believe that there is more than one way to view a single topic, and there is more than one life experience that can teach you about that topic. So we're all about multiple perspectives here. And the illness of discussion is called fibromyalgia. So it was interesting when I came across this one because it's like you heard it, right? You've heard the word. I'm sure you saw those weird medical commercials on TV about fibromyalgia and the medication and those people like running down a field as they're listing those negative side effects. Well, this show we're going to get into that, and we're really going to talk about what it is and what it's like to have fibromyalgia. So I have a guest with me who is going to help me out. I have a brave soul who is coming to the hot seat. Her name is Amanda Elise Love, and I am going to tell you about her. I cannot wait to tell you who she is. So let's get started. Who is Amanda Elise Love? Let me tell you who she is. So, Amanda Elise Love is a registered holistic nutritionist who teaches women how to cook simple but delicious, allergy friendly, healthy meals and to integrate a holistic approach through mind, body, and spirit. Mm. Amanda also has a long history of illness, which culminated with the diagnosis of fibromyalgia at the age of 20 in 2010, which caused debilitating pain and other aspects of her life. Because of this, she made it her life mission to excuse me, to teach others how to cook allergy-friendly food and lead a holistic life. She holds a diploma as a registered holistic nutritionist, certifications in gut health and culinary nutrition, and more. Amanda is the host of the podcast covering all aspects of holistic health with Amanda Love, which we will discuss in the promo later on, which has reached over 100 episodes. She has also been a featured guest on over 70 podcasts and TV shows such as Biz TV. And now she's on this one. Yay. She also has been a speaker at many summits and panels across the country. Finally, Amanda is the co author of the book Trauma to Triumph. All right. All right. So we'll have to talk about that book later on. All right. So with that said, I'm going to bring Amanda to the stage right now. Hi, Amanda. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So you have a book? Whoa, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. We'll talk about that book. But now we're going to talk about your life story about living with fibromyalgia. I definitely want to hear your story. I want the people to hear your story. So I'm going to hand over the baton to you and I'm going to have you just jump right into it.
Sounds great. So my story started before I was born. I was born 6 weeks early. And all of the time, right off the bat, I was sick constantly, every single week. I had a dad who got remarried when I was 8 years old. My parents divorced when I was 6 years old. And I was just dealing with a lot of trauma. And it was just a bad situation. And the biggest thing was I just was mentally exhausted. I was sinus infections, colds, you name it. I had it, headaches, fatigue. And I was always just playing catch up. And I was not just playing catch up with my health, which never seemed to be good. I was playing catch up with school. I had some learning difficulties. School never came easy for me growing up. And so eventually we moved to Arizona from California, and my health started to improve a teeny bit. I was less sick every 4 to 6 weeks. But I was still sick and I was still playing catch up with school. And eventually I graduated high school and I wanted to be a personal trainer. That was my passion. I loved fitness at a very young age. 10 years old, I was into fitness. I was always into nutrition. And so that seemed like the natural step is to do that. And so I did a personal training program, completed that program, 6 months, 500 hours. And I turned 20 about 2 weeks later. And all of a sudden, I was in so much pain. I was so fatigued. I was exhausted. I couldn't even get out of bed. And I didn't know what was going on. And I was just crying. I cried a lot. I was crying all the time. I was going through this for months and months and months. And they told me, okay, we don't know what to do. And eventually we went to one of the top rheumatology places in the country in Mesa, Arizona. And they said, you have fibromyalgia. And that was one of the things where I was like, okay. At the time, fibromyalgia wasn't pushed back in 2010. You didn't hear about it on TV or stuff. They handed me a brochure, and the brochure said, oh, what it was, and pretty much what they think you should do for fibromyalgia. They put you on medication. They put you on Cymbalta or Lyrica. If you look it up on drugs.com, it's a antidepressant. And they actually told my grandmother, this is something I don't always share. They said, well, she might be depressed. And they said that as I was outside the room. And of course, you're depressed at 20 years old when you can't even get off the couch and you're in so much pain. The second thing that they recommended was physical therapy. I've never been overweight. I've never struggled like with that. And so that was their next thing. Do the swimming, do the physical, do the weights, do all of that. And I'm like, okay. And I did that. And I would just come out crying. I was in so much pain. I was so exhausted. I didn't know what was going on. And I did that for about 4 to 6 weeks. I did the medication for like 2 days. I had a grandmother who was a nurse who was like, you're not staying on this. You don't feel well on it. And the biggest thing was after that was I went to pain management. And pain management was the most excruciating thing I've ever done. I was in so, like, they would shoot this huge needle into all the trigger points. So your neck, your back, your shoulders. And you were like you were in a hospital gown. It was a regular doctor's office. Your blood sugar would crash. You would be in so much pain and stuff. And I just come out crying. I was so exhausted and it was so painful. And they would say, oh, your blood sugar would crash. You have to have cookies and juice to raise it back up. And so for me, it was just like, well, this rabbit hole of going from doctor to doctor and stuff. And eventually my grandmother said, oh, I found a wellness chiropractor and he lives 10 minutes away. She went to his talk and he said, if your granddaughter has fibromyalgia at 20 years old, she's been very sick a very long time. And a light bulb went off in my grandmother's head, and she has said to me in the past, oh, he really got it. And that's where my journey of health started. I was 21 years old at the time, and I found out I had 2 genes that predisposed me to gluten sensitivity, highest in his practice at the time. I was not celiac. Both sets of parents gave me that, one from each parent. I have a soy sensitivity, I have an egg sensitivity, dairy sensitivity. And I've been off of those for 11 years, and I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. It'll be like 12 years this October. And that's what I tell people is like, with your journey, with your health journey, whatever your health journey is, there's not an end point, but you could look back at like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and see how far you've come. And that's what the big thing is. You could still be working on your health journey. It's a never ending process, but at least you're ahead of where you were like 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. You just have to get started.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So you've experienced the symptoms of fibromyalgia since you were 20. So how how did you navigate life, for lack of a better question? So how was work? How was school? How was socialization with your friends? Things like that.
So that's a good question. And I don't get that question very often, which is surprising. But I tell people I didn't have any of it, really. I didn't have a social life. Um, I didn't have, I, after I did that personal training program, I didn't do anything for a little over a year. And all of the things I've done since that have been online and stuff. So I've done a lot of online courses and stuff like that. And but I tell people now, like where I was even a couple years ago, even where I was last year has changed a lot. So now I'm in a different state. I've been in this state for 8 months almost. So my life's totally different than it even was like 8 months ago. And I tell people that I have friends. It's still work in progress because friends take time to make when you're in a new city and new state, right? And finding those friends that you can have those deep conversations with is important to me. And just connection is important. But like you just have to give yourself grace and stuff. And like I just think about like, okay, I have two nieces. So I just had my sister just had her second baby this week. And I tell people, okay, if I didn't change my lifestyle, I didn't change my food, would I be able to play with those two nieces now that I have then and stuff? So it's all just looking at the big picture and being like, okay, there's a bigger picture, even if you don't know what that picture is at the moment.
And what is that? What is the bigger picture?
The bigger picture, I tell people, is like, why are you here? What are you here on earth to do? I think we all have something that we feel we're called to do. Maybe, I mean, I don't like back then I didn't know it was to have a podcast and have a podcast going for now almost 3 years to share my expertise in nutrition, to share what I've gone through, to share my story. Like, I didn't know I was going to be a co-author in a book. I didn't know that. Even a year ago, I didn't know that. So, like, what is your mission? Like, I feel like for me, God plays a big part in that. But whatever it is for you, maybe it's just to be there for your grandkids, or maybe it's to be there for whoever, your family, your friends, if you don't have kids. Maybe it's something else. But what is your mission? What's like relationships that you need to grow as a person? And like what is really think about why I'm here, not just to be busy, not just to be doing whatever, but to really, really to enjoy your life, whatever it is you're doing.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing and insightful and, excuse me, definitely motivational. So, I wanted to get into fibromyalgia itself. Could you just discuss the symptoms of fibromyalgia?
Yeah, the symptoms of fibromyalgia. So I always tell people it's like excruciating pain, like neck pain, back pain, arms, legs, and stuff. I always tell people that. And it's constant. It's not like going away. And then you're so exhausted. You can't think. A lot of people with fibromyalgia, they have brain fog. They have extreme fatigue. You're so exhausted. You might have IBS. You might have sleep issues. I remember that I would get up and I would just feel like a truck had hit me. Like you don't get that deep, restful REM sleep with fibromyalgia. And I tell people if your sleep is off, like that's the number one thing. If you don't fix anything and stuff, you really should fix that one thing. Like sleep is like, I tell people it's the number one thing to fix because our sleep affects our mood, it affects our energy, it just affects everything. It affects what we're going to reach for. If I'm more tired, then I'm going to reach for that cookie or whatever that's not as good for me. So, or I'm stressed out. It's gonna it also weakens your immune system, so you get sick more often. So if your sleep's off, then that's like number one thing you should work on first.
And I know this is an obvious question, but why is sleep so important?
Sleep's so important because if you don't get that restful sleep, then how are you gonna live your day-to-day life? I mean, like how do a lot of people when they don't get enough sleep, we can't function. We can't do our best work. We're tired, we're moody, we're exhausted. And so getting that deep, restful REM sleep and making sure you're getting enough sleep too. Turning off the electronics before bedtime. Maybe you get blue glasses where like it blocks out the blue light, having darkening curtains so you're not having light shining in and stuff is a big thing. I feel like just making simple lifestyle tweaks to your nightly routine is important.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I wanted to just take a moment and share this from the CDC website. I'm just gonna give me 1 second to pull it up as you were talking. Um, right. So as you were talking, this is on the CDC website. So when looking up fibromyalgia, they're talking about the things that you said: pain all over the body, fatigue, sleep problems. They also threw in like headaches, depression, and anxiety. And I think you mentioned digestive problems, which is there as well. And it looks like you're getting all of these at the same time, from what
Yeah.
I'm able to tell here.
Yeah, you pretty much just get them all you get all at once and stuff. I tell people. And a lot of times I got a lot of headaches. I was just all of it. I pretty much dealt with all of it. You get a little it's depressing at some points and stuff, but it's just it's a journey with your fibromyalgia, but you have to realize, okay, I'm going through this journey, but what can I do to make a small change to feel a little better?
Awesome. So let's get into that. So I think you mentioned it briefly, um, but what are the treatments for it? What you mentioned physical therapy. Can you go into a little bit more? How do you that's the $1 million question, right? So what's the is there a cure? What's the medication? What's the treatment? Let's get into all that.
Medication is usually Cymbalta or Lyrica, so I'm not like I can't tell you to go off a medication or that's not my like expertise or something. But I always tell people look at your side effects of a medication. There's a great website called drugs.com and you can type in that medication. It'll show like the symptoms, all of that type of thing, and tell you about the medication. Because a lot of times we get on so many medications and we don't know if it's working or not. And that's a big thing. And look at side effects because I think a lot of times we just trust the doctor's going to give us that medication and that's going to fix it. But maybe it's not getting to the root cause of why you have that symptom. And that's what I tell people is like, what is the root cause of why you're dealing with that? Is it and stuff? Is it, if you have a headache, why do you have a headache? Is it because you are super stressed out? What is it that's contributing to the headache and stuff? I think a lot of times with medications, it's something, we want to take the pill because we think that's the easy way out. And with the health, it's not an easy way out. There's multiple things you might have to work on. I tell people it might be your relationships, it might be your environment that you're living in, it might be your stress level, it might be your food choices. So what are the things that you could work on? And it's not just one thing you might have to work on, it might be multiple things at a time. There's no cure for fibromyalgia. I hate that word cure because I don't feel like people should be like talking about cure. Let's just talk about, okay, let's just talk about how do I feel better? How can I get better so I can live that life where I can play with my nieces or my nephews or whoever else is in my life and stuff.
So you brought up a key point, which is when you experience a headache, for example, people are quick to take pain medication, and I'm guilty of that as well. But we're ignoring the underlying factor of that, which is like, why did you get the headache in the first place? Is it high blood pressure? Is it stress related? Is it emotional related? So it's more, so we don't want to be so quick to take the medication. It's also, we have to look at other factors as well. What's going on in our lives that is causing these headaches? Is it what's going on socially? What's going on emotionally? Um, there might be an underlying health condition that we're not really paying attention to. So, you brought up a good point there.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned that because I feel like we go straight to the medications. And I know exactly, sometimes I'm like, oh, if I'm dealing with a headache, I'll know. Most of the time I only have headaches if it's a hormone thing and stuff. For me, I feel like it's maybe once a month, but I feel like, are we looking at the deeper issues? Are we looking at our emotions and stuff? Um, have we been sitting at our computers too long? Maybe we just need a break. We've been staring at the screen so long that we need a break from the computer and that sort of thing. So just realizing like your habits and like what can you do to make small little changes and stuff. Maybe you take a 10-minute break and walk away from the computer after you've been on the computer for like an hour and just take some time away from the computer, set a little alarm telling you to take that break and stuff, and then setting yourself up for better habits so then you don't get those headaches as much or at all.
Hmm, good point. Good point. So let's talk about your life now. So how is your life now? How have your days been?
That's a great question. So my life's totally different. So I'm in Austin, Texas, but like I could do networking events. I could have community around me. I have a business. I have clients. I have this stuff that I didn't think I would ever have. I had the podcast that's been going for 3 years, and I was talking to someone today, and she said to share this because I haven't been sharing this as much. I mean, I'm not perfect. Like, I just want people to know that. Like, I'm still dealing with some immune issues and stuff like that. And I've been dealing with that on and off for my whole life, but it's not like to the point where I'm sick every single week. It might be every couple months and stuff like that. So I just want people to know, like, I'm not perfect. I don't expect you to be perfect with your health. You're going to backslide a little bit sometimes. You might have a couple months off where it's just like, I don't know why my health is not as great. And that's how I've been the last couple months. But that's okay. You've come a long way and you're going to get past that and stuff like that. So you just got to keep going.
Do you find that you have to adjust your daily routine due to the illness? So do you find that um, maybe you can't you have to stay inside more, or you have to do all of your appointments in the day, or something like that? Do you find you have to adjust your daily routine to compensate?
That's a good question. Daily compensate, like it's not like I'm daily adjusting because I work from home and stuff, but it's more of like, okay, I need a little more downtime for myself, that type of thing. I think the biggest thing is realizing when I just need some time off from working with people. But I feel like a lot of times it's okay, realizing you're not gonna be perfect with everything. You can't do everything all at once and stuff like that. But I love giving value to people. I love helping people. And it's not like I'm in pain like I was 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's stuff like I'm never in pain. And that's the big thing you guys should take away. I only have headaches like once a year. I mean, not once a year, once a month, maybe. Um, Usually it's a hormone thing and stuff like that. Uh, some weeks my energies are a little different just because of hormones and that type of thing and stuff like that. But my mood's stable. My sleep is pretty much good, except for I would say unless I'm sick and stuff. So it's just listening to my body and be like, okay, I might need something different this day than I did the day before or the week before or the month before. And just making those tweaks. And that's what I do with my clients is like, I tell my clients, we're not going to overhaul your everything at once. We're going to make these little tweaks and you'll gradually start to see the changes in your health.
Like what? Can you give an example of a tweak?
Yeah, a tweak. Like I would say, if your one of the biggest thing is if you a tweak a week. So I would say sleep is a big thing. So what are you doing sleep wise is a big one. Turning off your electronics, of course, an hour before you go to bed is important. But making sure you have like a curtain that's like blocking out all the blue light. Getting blue, there's actually blue glasses. So if you work out your computer at night, it could block out that blue light and stuff is one great tip that people don't actually do and stuff. But just making small gradual changes. Like I feel like we think, oh, I'm gonna overhaul my diet. I'm going to change my relationships. I'm going to do all this. But unless you move to a new city, you really don't have to like change those things, right? It's all at once. Like you could do little things at a time. And that's giving yourself grace and saying, oh, I will get to that new habit in the next month. Like maybe it's you don't have to work on your relationships right now. Maybe it's more of a focus that you work on your work or you work on your health or whatever it is and stuff like that. And that's what I'm trying to do as someone who is in a new city. It's hard. Like I want to do all the things. I want to be social. And I did that and I learned my lesson that I like my alone time. I don't want to go to everything just to go to everything. It's just not my personality. And I don't need to do everything if it's not bringing me joy. And taking out those things that don't serve you is a big thing also. We always talk about adding things in and stuff, but we also need to take out things that is not like filling up our cups and bringing us joy and making us happy. And I did that personally this year.
And how do you feel? Do you feel happy?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel good about it. Like I was questioning why I would felt like I was getting I felt like I needed to do that activity. It was being in a Bible study and it was Tuesday nights and I just didn't enjoy I just didn't enjoy it. It was like it was more social and like it wasn't more like my type of thing. If I go I like to learn and stuff. So if I'm going to do something, I want to go to an event and actually learn something or but I also like to learn about people and stuff. And I just was not getting anything out of that. And it's okay. It's okay to just because other people don't understand why you're not doing that thing doesn't mean you have to do it. And you don't have to feel pressured into doing every single thing and stuff, especially if those of you who have kids and stuff. I'm sure you get judged on like if your kids should do this or this and stuff. And it's whatever works for you and your kids, or even for just yourself.
Mm, awesome, awesome. That's amazing. And it sounds like you took this unexpected hardship, um, and this unexpected turn of events in your health, and you decided to not let it get you down. That you decided to. I don't want. I mean, I hate to be cliche, but you made the best of it. You turned lemons into lemonade. You're aware of your symptoms. You're aware of you're aware that you get more exhausted than usual. Um, you're aware that you might be in constant pain, but you do things to decrease the symptoms, and you don't let it get in the way of living your life.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about realizing, okay, I'm not the most outgoing person, but I'm not the most introverted person. So I have different levels. I need my alone time. I need my time just by myself to relax and not overextending myself because I'm a very, very driven person. And that's very, very hard for me. But realizing what your personality is, what other people's personalities are too, and meeting them in a way that serves you, but also serves that relationship and stuff. And that's the big thing. If people don't realize or they don't understand why you're not going out all the time or something, maybe that's not the right friendship for you and stuff. And just realizing that.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to keep to yourself. Whether it's for health reasons or whether you just don't want to be around people. So that's understandable. All right. So we are starting to wind down. So I wanted to give you a chance to share any final words of wisdom with our viewers or any advice that you'd like to impart.
Yeah, so my final wisdom is I just tell people take action. Make sure you're doing something that is serving you and stuff. Take time to work on your health, whatever that health condition is. It doesn't have to be fibromyalgia. I don't just work with people with fibromyalgia. I work with everyone who just wants to improve their health and stuff like that. I tell people it's getting back to how do I want to live my life, getting rid of all the stuff that you don't need in your life and stuff, and just living a healthier life and stuff, and figuring that out. And then finding that person to help you if you don't know how to do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. And I also will throw in a quick PSA that if you are experiencing any of those symptoms, uh, whether it's one at a time or all at once, I encourage you to talk to your doctor. All right. And with that said, I'm going to put up your promo right now. So, you guys, Amanda Elise Love is on social media. You can check her out on Facebook. She has a personal page and a business page, so definitely check it out. And she is on Instagram. So, Amanda, can you tell us about your business a bit?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I help women. I love teaching people how to cook healthy, allergy-friendly food. I have a podcast that talks about is called Covering All Aspects of Holistic Health with Amanda Love. And what started out as a fibromyalgia podcast, but now it's expanded to cooking, to guest experts, and stuff like that. I also have a Facebook group, which is Cooking with Love with Amanda Love, that I am like doing recipes and that so you could see what I'm about and stuff like that. And I love to teach people how to meal prep. If you're in Austin, like we could do some meal prepping and cooking classes I'm doing in person. And I'm actually going to start doing online cookie classes. So those people who want to join an online cooking class, all you can get on my email. And there's several ways to learn about me, learn about my experts and stuff, and just get back to living a healthy life. That's what I tell people.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And you did bring up your podcast. So I have the link here. So this is the podcast that she was referring to. So the link is scrolling below. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, the link will also be provided in the description. So definitely check it out. Listen to those episodes. Get inspired. Uh, all the above. So this is the link to her podcast, and I encourage you to listen to it. So it is on. It's only on Apple, right?
No, it's on all of them.
It's on all of them. Okay, so it's wherever you hear a podcast.
Yeah,
That
it's on all of them.
It's on all of them. So the link scrolling below is just one of them on Apple, but it is all over the place. And what's the name of it?
Covering all aspects of holistic health with Amanda Love.
Absolutely. So check out her podcast wherever you hear podcasts. And I just want to get this in. You did mention a book. I had to track it down, but you have a book on Amazon that you co-author. So I'm going to
Yeah.
share the screen. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. I'm going to have you talk about it. All right, this is the book here.
Yep, that's the book.
All right, so please tell us about the book.
Yeah, I was asked to be part of a summit last year, and then she mentioned that it might be a book, that we might do a book together with all these authors. And so this book actually is called Trauma to Triumph, and it's different stories of women. We've all gone through trauma and stuff, and we've gotten to the other side. And it's teaching women that you can get to the other side of whatever you're dealing with. My story's in there. I have like a chapter about it, goes deeper into my story and stuff like that. I talk about my parents' divorce. I talk about my learning difficulties. I talked about my health issues. And I also talk about what lessons I've learned as a registered nutritionist, a couple tools that I teach my clients and stuff like that. So it's a great book just to like read and be like inspired, because that's the big thing. I like to inspire people that you can get whatever difficulty it is. It doesn't have to be a health difficulty.
Fabulous, fabulous. And where can people buy this book?
It's on Amazon and you could buy it right on there. It's available now.
There you have it. Awesome. So, Elise, oh, let me take the banner off. All right, so you guys heard it. Buy that book on Amazon. There's a lot of books on Amazon, so uh, yeah, so there's no excuse not to read. Amazon is very popular. All right, so Amanda, thank you so much for joining me today. You definitely gave an inspiring story, and I hope that y'all, the viewers, heard her and you take her advice and definitely take care of your health. So, Amanda, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really love this interview.
Awesome. So, I'm going to place you backstage right now. And you guys, it is just you and me. All right, so I'm going to put up my banner. Where's my banner? Where are you? There you are. And we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, whatever social media platform that you are watching this episode right now, please check it out for more videos and clips. And don't forget to follow us. So, follow, like, share, subscribe, wherever you are watching this. Press the button. Press that button. Whatever the button is, press it. And while you're at it, let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below or in the comment thread. So if you have any questions for our guests, if you have any questions for me, definitely leave it. Anyway, leave a note, leave a comment, leave an emoji, whatever it is, just leave it in the comment section or in the thread. And as a reminder, we are a Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you would like to learn more about our services, our workshops, if you are interested in acquiring tutoring services for yourself or for your child, please reach out to us online. Our website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And I also encourage you to sign up for our email list and or texting list. The links are scrolling below on your screen, and the links will also be provided to you in the description for those of you watching this on our YouTube channel. So there is so many ways that you could stay in touch with the Step Ahead Tutoring Services, and I encourage you to stay in touch with all of those things by all means. And before we close, I am just going to share this one final message.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
And that is it for our episode. Thank you so much thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. And now, signing off.